Is winning enough for Deshaun Watson? If you click on this video, then you want to know. And we're going to tell you right now. Browns fans know the history of Deshaun Watson here in Cleveland, and non-Browns fans mostly do too. 5 years, $230 million contract, and with every incomplete pass, that contract, it grows larger and larger, and the sum gets exaggerated sometimes. First round picks given up. We all know that first round picks are gold to some Browns fans. We could have drafted Herbie Johnson out of Ohio Tech. I don't even know who that is. But let's break down who the Browns have been with Deshaun Watson during his 2 years. Well, first of all, we don't know the full capability because he hasn't played 17 games yet, an entire season for the Browns. Year one, we all know the suspension that was coming, so he missed the first 11 games. And then year two, he only played 6 games, and then he had that shoulder surgery ending his season. But up till then, we've had a sample size of Deshaun Watson, and for some Browns fans, it just has not been good enough. But for a lot of the Browns fans, it's been a failure. It's over. It is done. Get rid of him. Give him his pink slip. He is the worst quarterback that has ever stepped on the field. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks that, but that's some people, that's how they feel. Now, entering year 3, this is when we ask, is winning just enough? So far, Deshaun Watson, I wrote some numbers down. In 2023 last year, in the games he played, he had 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,115 yards. That's not bad, but that's not knocking your socks off. And the Browns want the quarterback to knock their socks off. And in his 2 years so far, I wrote these numbers down too. It's called being prepared. He's had 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 2,217 yards, and a 59.8% completion. We can round to 60 and be nice. That doesn't knock your socks off either. So if you go by the numbers, fans have the right to be frustrated with Deshaun Watson. Fans have the right to be up in arms to the most point. Now, some of the stuff I see, I'm just like, okay, you're going a little too far. But like I promised in the video, I'm going to tell you, is winning just enough for Deshaun Watson? Now, the answer is no. It isn't. But I'm going to tell you why winning is not enough for Deshaun Watson. Because Deshaun Watson's not your regular quarterback. That's why it's not enough. He's not your regular starting quarterback. If he was your regular starting quarterback, winning would just be enough. But Deshaun Watson came with baggage. Deshaun Watson came with off-season issues. And Deshaun Watson came where there was half of the Browns fan base, and still half of that Browns fan base love and will not let go of progressive's #1 superstar, Baker Mayfield. That's just the truth. They will not let him go. They will not let Baker Mayfield go, and that's who he is replacing. Baker Mayfield came in, won a playoff game at Pittsburgh, and the Browns hasn't been in the playoffs in forever, and that right there, he won their hearts. So is winning just enough for Deshaun Watson? No. You have to replace Baker Mayfield. You have to go farther than Baker Mayfield. And you gotta look like a superstar doing it in most of Browns fans' eyes. And what do I mean by that? Let's take Myles Garrett for a second. Myles Garrett, a Browns superstar, defensive player of the year, best player in the league. If you're defensive player of the year, what do we hear Browns say about Myles Garrett? You see it in the watch party. It's the first quarter, drive 3 for the offense. Where's Myles at? He's the best player on the team on defense. He's defensive player of the year. If he doesn't have a sack by the second possession, they're already calling Myles Garrett at. And Myles Garrett, for the most part, is beloved. We all know the incident he had at the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's had some, car accidents and things like that you wonder what's happening. But, other than that, you can have a knock on Myles that he's injured when you need him to be healthy. He needs to get big time sacks in the big time games. People nitpick on Myles Garrett, and you can pick on, when we had, we're not going to go back to the OBJ days and things like that, but whatever player was here, they wanted them to produce. So now let's bring Deshaun Watson back into the fold. Deshaun Watson can't just win, and most Browns fans will take him in, we'll give him a hug, and we'll say, we now love you. He has to put up numbers too. Joe Flacco, now Indianapolis Colts quarterback. Baker Mayfield is, he's always, for some Browns fans, a lot of Browns fans, he is always going to be in their hearts. And lots of Browns fans, Joe Flacco is in their hearts. He had 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 5 games. I wrote the numbers down for him too. 1,616 yards. And that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. If you look at those numbers, it's okay. It's not the greatest ever, but they loved Joe Flacco. And in the playoffs, that playoff happened, but people want to sweep it under the rug. They love Joe Flacco. So with Deshaun Watson, not only does he have to replace the love of Baker Mayfield for most Browns fans, now you have the Joe Flacco thing lingering going into the season, and you have this 5-year, $230 million contract, 61 first-round draft picks. It gets exaggerated every year that the Browns gave up. He has to do more than win. He has to put up the numbers. He has to be the reason why the Browns win. For most fans ago, okay, we now accept you. You now are one of us. We now love you, Deshaun. And some fans will never love Deshaun Watson. And that's just what it's going to be. There's nothing you can do. He can throw no interceptions for the year and throw all touchdowns and win the Super Bowl, and they still won't love him because of the off the field issues. And I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about football. Football on the field, he has to win, and he has to be the reason they win most of the time. He has to put up those big drives, those big time throws when they matter most. Now, we've seen a glimpse of what he can do from time to time, and the biggest glimpse we've seen was the Baltimore Ravens hurt shoulder, hurt ankle, 14 for 14. We all know the story, and we're hoping he builds off that. Will 2020 Houston show up? I don't know. Will that Watson ever come back? I don't know. But the Deshaun Watson that we have seen in spurts, he needs to be better. And he knows this too. Because if he just wins, if he's just mediocre, if he's just average, Browns fans will not accept that. They want to see greatness from their quarterback. And to be honest with you, in the AFC North, average isn't going to cut it. In the AFC, average isn't going to cut it anyways. So that really doesn't matter. So there's your answer. Winning is not enough for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has to be the reason why the Browns win most of the times and put up numbers for the majority of Browns fans to go, okay, now we see, now we may welcome him in here, 3rd year of a 5-year contract. Because if he doesn't win this year and he be the reason, I don't know. I'm just going to shut off my phone, shut off my internet, and play NCAA football. But that is it for me. If you have any comments, that's what the comment section is for. Let me know how you feel. Is winning enough for you? Maybe you're one of them Browns fans say, I don't care. Long as we get to the Super Bowl, winning is enough for me. Just get me that ring and I'll be happy. Or are you on the side of, that's right, you need numbers and you need to win. And at the end of your comment, hashtag Watson to let me know you've made it this far. And if you've enjoyed the video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on all your notifications. And until next time, Corey on Sports, it's all love. I'll see ya. Peace.